Everybody's got an opinion. Every Californian and Virginian. It's so hard to tell who to trust and who to ignore. Someone's gotta settle the score. Trey and Chelsey will help you choose whose views win, which ones lose. Online haters are coming for you. Baby, it's time to review the review.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome to Review That Review, the podcast dedicated to reviewing
Reviews. We're just like Siskel and Ebert, only instead of reviewing cinematic masterpieces, we rate and review those hilarious, scathing, and sometimes suspicious online reviews.
That lovely voice is Chelsey Donn.
And that lovely voice is Trey Gerrald.
And together, our lovely voices form
The Review Queens.
And that lovely voice is Eva Kaminsky, our voiceover artist.
Oh my God. So many lovely voices. Natalie at the top. We got some lovely voices. It is great.
How's your crown today, my queen?
My crown is great. I don't know if you've noticed. If you don't have Patreon, you're not going to see. But like she has a full blowout and makeup. And like, I'm really feeling myself in the moment. She's fresh. And so clean. I didn't have Pilates right before, so I had a chance to shower and get ready. But mostly I did this because I'm taking over the Instagram today for my high school Penn Charter for their alumni Instagram page, which is super exciting.
Cool.
And it's already been quite a day. So happy to be doing that. So fun.
That is so fun. You're just documenting like a day in the life?
A day in the life of Chelsey in LA, being an actor, doing the thing, all of the crazy that comes in a singular day when you're a very multi-hyphenate individual like we are.
Oh yeah.
You know? So many things.
And your school's Pennsylvania, so it's probably very exciting for an alumni to be in California. I wonder what the ratio of students that go on to California is.
Yeah, I think we definitely have a little bit of a community out here. They've been doing a good job of connecting the alumni. They created a new alumni network so we can kind of see who's where and what opportunities are where. It's really nice, actually, because of COVID. It's like one of the good things that, come out of COVID. I think a lot of us realize that we don't need to be in the same place to interact. So over quarantine, Penn Charter did a bunch of remote meeting for worships. Do you know what that is, Trey?
Is that like a Christian thing?
It's a Quaker thing because Penn Charter is a Quaker school. Go Quakers. It was founded by William Penn in 1689, and it's the oldest charter school in the nation. Isn't that amazing? William Penn. What a guy.
What's a charter school?
So it's a private school now. It was founded as a charter school, which I don't really know the what's the word?
Definition?
Not the division. I don't know the exact history of the transition from charter to private. I know it was all an all boys school for a long time, and then and it switched to co-ed. But meeting for worship is a Quaker practice where you sit in silence for about, I think it's like 40 minutes or something like that. And if you are quaked to speak, you're able to stand up and say something and then sit down, and everyone just sort of reflects on what is said. And the idea behind Quakerism is there's the light of God in all of us, like not to get weird and religious, but there's no pastor, there's no rabbi, there's no person that's necessarily leading meeting for worship. It's a community gathering, and together we create this space. And it was really like my favorite part about high school was having this break. Like it didn't matter if you had a test after that or whatever was going on, you had this sort of meditative break in the middle of your day. And then over COVID, because the world became suddenly in a weird way more connected, even though we were so separated, they had a few meeting for worships for all of us alumni. It was so amazing. So I'm so thrilled. I'm honestly honored that they picked me to take over the page. And I'm having a great time. So how was your week?
I love that idea, especially for blossoming minds, like for
Yeah.
instilling that sort of awareness and stillness and appreciation for others' contributions. That's amazing.
Isn't it? I mean, quick anecdote. I don't know. We might end up cutting this or keeping it for Patreon, but just so you get an idea of how meaningful it can be, they do an all school meeting for worship every once in a while, which is like pre-K through high school. And I remember I was at an all school meeting for worship, and this girl stood up, and she had to be like in kindergarten or something like that. And she stood up and she said, I was looking around at all the lights in the room, and I decided that even if these lights were not here, it wouldn't be dark because the light inside of all of us. And then she sat down. And you're like, this 5-year-old, somebody give her a Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, that was just.
And her name was Brene Brown.
And her name was Brene Brown, Jr.
You're right.
I don't know. But anyway, I love it so much. And just so you know a little bit about my high school experience, there's that little anecdote for you. Where did you go to high school, Trey?
I went to a normal public high school for 2 years, and then my last 2 years I went to a boarding high school in South Carolina. Yeah. It was a great.
Or was it for theater?
It was for drama.
Drama. I should know.
Pre-professional training.
So advanced. How old were you? Like 16?
Yeah, I was 15. Audition based, 15 students across the state of South Carolina.
Wow, that's amazing.
5 of us were cut, so only 10 of us graduated.
And we had
to wear all blacks. We couldn't have any jewelry. Girls could not have any makeup.
Stop, like all the time, every day?
For drama classes, yeah.
What was what do you feel like the significance was in that?
It actually also an interesting thing to subject young people to. It's like one of those like we like very pretentious drama school ideas. The people that created this high school program created the North Carolina School of the Arts drama program. It's like that thing about like if you show up completely neutral, then the character can show up in a whole new way. Like you. Oh, that's interesting.
So it's like strip it all away so that you become this vessel for the character. Oh, that's interesting. I can understand that as a fellow actor.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like, a Meryl Streep thing.
Oh, I'm sure Meryl does that.
But I think that's very common for these like original conservatory programs for classical acting, like not like television. I mean,
I definitely have an image of my head of these very serious thespians dressed in all black doing Shakespeare, like just the full blacks and the skull, reciting a Hamlet monologue. So I can see that. I guess it's the no makeup thing that I'm like, wow, that's interesting as a rule.
Well, you can't hide behind it.
Right. Oh, good point.
That's
wow. So much like profound things that happened in our high schools that as adults, you really look back on it and you're like, that's pretty amazing. I love that. And with all that love in mind, Trey.
Yeah.
No?
Wait, I was going to say. Well, I was going to share that I attended a virtual reading of my co-host, Chelsey Donn's reading presentation of her pilot that she and her writing partner Amy Kirsten that she and her writing partner Amy Kirsten have co-written together, and it was a very moving, hilarious, great time. I just wanted to acknowledge that.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, Trey.
But it's getting cut, girl. We're cutting it out. This is Patreon only.
Okay, whatever. I think the listeners deserve to know that not only is she a podcaster, sometimes she writes things too,
That's right.
Why am I talking about myself in the third person? It's like a thing I'm doing today. Maybe it's because I'm feeling sassy because I have makeup on.
Oh yeah, because you can't hide now. Or now you can hide.
Well, I guess I can hide. Yeah, maybe that's why. Like I'm like, who is she that's coming out? Somebody different. Anyway, guys, Thanks for bearing with us. So much love in our hearts for our high schools and that experience. And with that in mind, Trey, do you have a complaint you'd like to lodge?
Lodge a complaint.
Will you just say that again?
Do you want me to lead it into would you like to?
Sure.
Well, that was amazing. We had so many nice, heartwarming things to say about our high schools. I love that for us. But I also love for us when we get to
lodge a complaint.
Love it. So, right. Trey, tell us, what do you want to get off your chest?
Okay, today I have to lodge a complaint against something that I'm suffering from at the moment. It's when you get a kink in your neck, when you sleep wrong.
Oh, God. Yes.
It's so painful. I've taken 2 Tylenol extra strengths today. I begged David to come and rub on because I really like getting massages. So it's a thing. So I frequently ask him if he'll give me a massage. But today I literally was this isn't the cute, funny, annoying thing. Will you please feel how ginormous this thing is? And this, I realized this happens to me a lot actually, where
is it the way you're sleeping? Are you sleeping in a weird way?
I did notice that I noticed something 2 days ago where I was I think I just hurt myself. And then when I was sleeping last night, I was oh, this hurts. But that happens to me frequently. I don't know if I need to start sleeping up.
Of recent or just of recent this has been happening frequently, or no, it's just a thing we always just get a little thing in the neck.
One time I got acupuncture for it and it really did work. But I would be scared to do that now. But it's just so painful because you turn your head a lot during the day.
Turns out you need your head and your neck turns out you need your neck to turn your head.
And it really just weighs on you all day. It's just I got this elephant sitting on my neck and I don't want it.
Exactly.
Go join the circus, Dumbo. Get out of here. You ain't welcome here. Anyway, that's my complaint.
I completely hear you. There are these 2 guys on YouTube. I want to say their names are Brad and Brad, the chiropractic team, but it's not that. They have 2 different names. I think one of them is Brad, but anyway, they're amazing. You should look them up. They have all these exercises you can do for your neck that can help fix it. They taught me one that I used once, which now makes sense now that I'm doing Pilates, that this worked. But you take okay, everybody who's listening on Patreon or wherever, you take a towel, you put it around your neck, you pull the towel forward while maintaining decent posture, and it really just stretches that out and can make a difference. So you should try that after we get off here.
I just wrote down Brad and Brad, even though I know that's not really what they're called. Anyway, so that's my complaint. Is just when you sleep wrong and then you suffer. Chelsey, what is your complaint for today?
Thanks for asking, Trey. My complaint today is about earbuds. I guess specifically Bluetooth, but really across genre. I have a hard time finding ones that work for me. I don't know if it's the shape of my ear is irregular. I have a real problem with the Bluetooth ones because I just feel like they don't stay charged enough. I can never get them to stay charged enough. And I don't know if you have this problem, but sometimes I have a problem when I use the little earbud things where one of them is on and the other one is off. And I just cannot figure out how to get both of them to be on. And I've bought so many pairs and I always have the same issue, or I accidentally touch it by accident and Siri is activated. It just feels like a lot. And sometimes I do sound healing, as we know, we all know this, but I do sound healing over Instagram sometimes, and you need headphones for that. And the agita and the stress that I experience trying to assure that my head is not going to move in a way that's going to turn on Siri, and both of these are going to stay amplified. I feel so locked in and so stressed by the idea of these headphones that it gets in the way of at least the first 10 minutes of the sound healing until I can relax into it. And sometimes it does act up in the middle, and that's a Shonda, you know what I mean? So I know we give a lot of tips to potential inventors, and I just hope one day we have listeners that are inventors and they can make some of these things happen. But can we do better? Can we do better with the headphones?
I hear
That's
you.
it.
What about these
Lodging and
headphones
complaint.
you're wearing right now?
Okay, so these are okay because they're what I call stationary headphones. They plug in, they stay in the area. They're a little bit big, and I'm afraid to try to make them tighter. I feel I might mess it up, so I'm just not going to mess with it. They're not bad though. They're pretty comfortable, but they're not really a go out into the world kind of a headphone. I mean, some people do and they rock it and they look fabulous. I don't know that I have that person inside of me. Plus, clunky, takes up a lot of space. Yeah, that's it.
True.
Yeah,
I hear you.
it's true. So I'm so glad we got to do that and get those, I don't know, complaints on the outside, as I like to say, out of the crown area. Get it out.
They're out and they're lodged. They're in the ledger.
They're in the ledger. Let it be known.
All
Let it be
right.
known the complaints have been made. Yes.
You want to do it? Should we jump into some online reviews?
I think we absolutely should run it. I think we absolutely should jump into some online reviews. I love it. I can't wait to hear what you brought in this week, Trey. Do I see the Philly thing now?
Wait, the review queens. Like,
Oh, the script. I forgot. I forgot we have that. Sorry. I was just having so much fun talking to you. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. Please, can we jump into those online reviews? I would so love that. As you guys already know, because you've probably listened before, we are your trusty review queens. We each bring in a review from the internet that we feel needs to be inspected.
we read you the review, we break it down, and we rate the impact of the review on a scale from 1 to 5 crowns. It's a very regal process that we like to call
Assess that kvetch.
and kvetch means complaint. Now, in honor of Chelsey's Instagram takeover, we are bringing you a themed episode. Surprise. We are both going to honor our home towns or our home states.
Yes, ish.
So I've picked material from South Carolina, and Chelsey has picked material from Pennsylvania.
It is true. So excited.
And I'm first today.
You are first. Take it away, RQ.
Review that review.
Okay, I had a very difficult time because I was trying to figure out what is South Carolina famous for.
Right.
And the only things that sort of came to mind were not positive things. So then I was like, okay, what do I love about my home state? And so then I was thinking about like I love Bojangles, which is like a fast food place. But then I couldn't find any really funny or entertaining reviews that I thought would be good for the podcast. So then I found this review.
Okay.
It is from Yelp. It is a 1-star review from Robin D. And Robin is spelled Robyn.
Thank you for the clarification. D as in dog. D as in dog, right? Robin D.
That's correct.
Okay.
And this review, this 1-star Yelp review from Robin D, is for a restaurant that is native to South Carolina. I don't know if it exists anywhere outside of the state. There's many of them called Lizard's Thicket.
Lizard Spigot?
Thicket.
What's a thicket?
I thought this was going to happen. I don't know, but I always thought, and I think that I was maybe told by my mom, but I didn't look it up. I believe that a thicket is like the nesting place for lizards.
Oh, that makes sense. That would make sense.
But it does not make sense as why you would name a restaurant that.
It's a little bit of a strange name for a restaurant, but I'm guessing whoever first started this place was very into lizards.
So Lizard's Thicket was
this is ridiculous. Of course, there's like multiple lizard thickets.
I guarantee
can't
you,
even.
if you ever meet anyone from the state of South Carolina, they will know what Lizard's Thicket is.
Oh my God.
But
So funny.
in the late 80s and 90s, their branding was like, think Cracker Barrel, but
Yes.
not so corporate. So like you walk in and there's like you pick like one main and then you pick like 3 fixins.
Got it. That sounds Southern.
Yes. And like the waitresses had like roughly like oversized like dresses that were like patchwork and like,
oh wow,
like think very like prairie.
Yeah, I was gonna say feels very like Little House on the Prairie.
Very
homemade
home cooking.
attire. Yeah, home cooking with the homemade dress.
It's very very specific branding.
Okay.
I think that isn't like that anymore, but whatever. Okay. So anyway, this is Robin D's 1-star Yelp review for the restaurant Lizard's Thicket.
Can't wait.
I went there to pick up a call-in order of 2 quarts of chilled dressing Tuesday before Thanksgiving. My mother called it in that morning around 10 and told them I would be picking it up by 2 p.m. When I arrived at 2 p.m., the order wasn't ready. They actually had no clue as to what I was speaking of. I sat in the drive-thru for 20 minutes. Finally, the assistant manager hands me a bag with liquid dressing, in which I looked at him and proceeded to say, "What am I supposed to do with this?" I looked in the bag to see the lid wasn't on properly and it was spilling out. I was beyond livid. For the last 5 years, my daddy has been ordering chilled dressing. Why is it now an issue? So after being pissed off that I have now held up the line for 20 minutes, I tell them to just meet me out front from the correct with the correct order. She did, bless her heart. The manager should have met me out there. Instead of an employee that had no clue what was going on. So I wait and she brings it out. It is still incorrect. I was fuming. How hard is it to make 2 quarts of chilled dressing and an extra pint of gravy? Apparently on this day, impossible. I walk in, immediately ask for the manager. I look around first to make sure no other customers see me or hear the slew of unkind words I have to say about the service or lack of service. So I say, I don't know who took my mom's call, but they screwed it all to hell. The order is not correct. The amount of food is not correct. And the pickup time is 2 p.m. The manager says, I took the order and you said pick up time of 5 p.m. Now, wait a minute. Did the manager just call me a liar? Or better yet, my 60-year-old mother? An hour left out of there in tears. This was only the second Thanksgiving we spent without my daddy, trying to continue his tradition that he loved. We won't be back. This Lizard's Thicket has declined rapidly in customer service. I place the blame on management. If you are comfortable with calling a customer a liar, then your employees will follow by example.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, it's the Karen.
Is it a Karen? Is Robin a Karen? So many like emotions happening during this review with Robin. First of all, I just want to confirm because I wrote this down as soon as you started talking. And then I was like, I thought that this is where we were going with it, but I want to verify that I'm correct.
Okay.
So stuffing is another word, or sorry, dressing is another word for stuffing. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
So like on Thanksgiving, it's like if I say I want a side of dressing, what I'm saying is I want a side of stuffing, right?
Yeah. Southerners often will call like the
Stuffing.
accoutrement with turkey on a Thanksgiving. You call that stuffing or you call it dressing. That's sort of interchangeable.
It's interchangeable. Okay. All right. Well, that's like, I guess, an important distinction.
Yes.
So Robin wanted stuffing, right? But Robin got salad dressing.
That's unclear. Robin D ordered 2 quarts of chilled dressing.
And is that a thing? I've never heard of chilled dressing. Have you?
No,
Okay.
I'm not really sure what that is.
Okay.
And then the assistant manager hands them a bag with liquid dressing.
Right. Okay. So when they said that, when Robin said that, what I assumed was liquid dressing was like salad dressing, but you're saying
Me too. Yeah, me
that
too.
that maybe, and also with like the cap being off, like I was envisioning salad dressing spilling into the bag or whatever it is. But you're saying you think maybe like there's chilled dressing, which is like a chilled stuffing, and then there's liquid dressing, which is also stuffing, but a different kind. We don't know.
I don't think so.
Okay.
My impression was the same as yours. Like
Okay.
they're using dressing and stuffing as the same terminology, and it was misinterpreted as salad dressing, I'm assuming.
Right. So I think this is, I mean, now that I know this, the backstory here, and now that I know that Lizard's Thicket is a very popular place in the area, and I kind of got this feeling throughout. I feel like Robin's having a very emotional response to what's happening here.
Yes, because of
Yes. And I felt that before she even mentioned her dad. And then after she mentioned her dad, I really understood what was going on. So we've talked about this before, where the one thing that makes a restaurant, in my opinion, really, really great is when every single time you order that, for me, probably a chicken Caesar salad, let's be honest, but every single time you order that item, it is exactly the same. And you can rely on it in that way. And this is a chain. And at chain restaurants, like if you get a chicken Caesar salad, just because I'm an aficionado, at Applebee's in, Cherry Hill, or if you get it in Applebee's here in LA, it's like the same, right? Like I know what it is that I'm getting. So I really feel like beyond, because she left in tears, so beyond what was happening, which I think was undeniably wrong, and they obviously did the wrong thing. Robin's having a very emotional response here to having things be a certain way when her father was alive. And now it's not that way. And she's without her father. And I felt I was empathizing with her experience.
I agree.
What were you thinking?
I mean, I like the review because it's through and through a Southern person.
Yes. Oh my God.
So many hilarious. Calling your father daddy.
Oh God. I mean, that sorry, go ahead.
No, go.
No, I was just going to say, like, I thought it was a little bit of a like exaggeration that Southern people were always like, bless your heart, and like, damn it to hell, or like whatever, or all to hell. I thought that was like hyperbole, but that's like obviously real. Is that real?
Yeah.
Like all the time, like everybody.
Yeah. The sprinkling of Robin's vernacular is so delicious.
Yes.
But it's interesting to me because I think if I ever was picking up like a pre-placed order, I would not go through the drive-thru. I wouldn't think to go through the drive-thru to pick that up. I would think I need to walk in and get it. But
I don't know. Like I clocked that for a second, but then I was like, maybe that's what they do at the Lizard's Thicket. I don't know.
Maybe. Not every Lizard's Thicket has a drive-thru.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
So what did the manager say to her? Like, I'm the one that took the call, and she said that they said 3 and not 2. Is that what she said? Because I was right. They said 5 and not 2. Got it. That's a big difference. What do you think about that? Like, what do you think about, even if, let's say she did say 5, what do you think about a manager clapping back in that way and not just sort of taking the high road, like the customer's always right?
Well, that's what's confusing to me is like, well, both sides here, like it's a mistake. Someone made the mistake here and the daughter
Correct.
is just picking up the order. So
Yes.
but then it's also interesting that Robin was so offended.
Right.
But I think that's part of the emotion. going on.
Emotional, for sure.
It's also the
Yeah.
Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and emotions always get heightened around the holidays.
Absolutely. Like, I don't know that, I just don't think that the manager should have reacted that way. I think the manager should have just taken the high road and, asked her what she needed and just gotten her order fulfilled as soon as possible. But I also don't know if this is a common experience or if this is sort of a one-off Robin thing.
Well, that I think is what is interesting about the review itself, is that Lizard's Thicket, to me, like in my experience, having gone there growing up multiple times, a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it kind of like makes sense. Like, oh, like if I didn't want to be preparing all of the fixins for Thanksgiving, maybe I could do like a pre-order from there. Like,
Right.
that's a smart business move.
Sure.
But I don't think like I don't even associate going through the drive-thru. I don't associate it with fast food because it is an experience. You go in and it's like a whole thing. And
So it's not like a McDonald's or like a Whataburger in Texas.
No.
Okay.
I mean, you would go there on lunch, perhaps. Like,
Right.
it is more fast food than it is like a steakhouse.
Sure.
But
But you said like there's the waitresses with the dresses and so it's a sit down.
it is sit down, but I think that changed now. Actually, I don't know if they hire waitresses. I think you might order at the register now.
Okay. Okay.
So now I'm really confused because it is sort of a hybrid of a restaurant in itself. But to your question, it feels like a very unique sort of experience. It's like a Thanksgiving thing. It's a pre-ordered thing. It like wasn't ready on time. There was miscommunication about the actual time. And then there's like so much upset emotion.
And it's also and then it's also a little bit of telephone because she didn't call directly, like the mom called, and not that I'm blaming her mom. I'm sure her mom got it right. But, whenever you're dealing with, like, you weren't the one that made the call directly, it adds an element of like, well, did the mom hear it incorrectly and then pass it on incorrectly? I don't know.
I guess I'm curious, like how, like, did Robin end up having to wait over, let's say Robin says they were holding up the drive-thru for 20 minutes. Then they were out of there with, like, it took an hour. Robin was crying. So like, does it take 40 minutes to prepare 2 quarts of dressing? I mean, in my mind, I'm just imagining if it is Thanksgiving, like maybe they're just really busy. And if she got the time wrong, like whoever got the time wrong, like if the manager wrote the time into the sheet wrong, or if the mom heard her wrong or whatever it was, then it might be mobbed. And then they're also trying to deal with her. Right. But it is also interesting to me. Like, I understand that you just wasted 20 minutes, but it's like, oh, I think because I'm so concerned with confrontation and like pacifying the situation. Right. I think that even if I was so angry, personally I would have been like, oh, okay, well, my mom said it was 2. I guess you got 5. So like, do you want me to just come back in 3 hours? Like, I think I would have been like, this is so
that's
obnoxious.
why I feel like, and that's why I feel like the emotions are coming in, because it's like, I had this mission, I was emotional about it, and I needed it to go a certain way, and it did not go that way. So I like sort of went off the rails a little bit. I think one of my favorite parts of the review was when Robin talked about, like, when she was talking to the manager, how she looked around to make sure no one could hear her before she complained.
Yeah. Very Southern.
What a classy move, I mean, I think Robin really wanted us to know that she wasn't making a scene. Well, see, but that sort of, when I first read it, it reminded me of the Ross Dress for Less, where you pointed out how that reviewer took the time to say,
I daintily,
Yes.
slowly dropped
Yeah.
with a pin drop of delicacy on the counter. So it did make me think like, oh, like, why are you pointing out that you were being like that?
Right.
Because were you really?
Right.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
ultimately, like, what I'm sort of left with this review is so much personal detail and information about
Yes.
Robin's family sadness, which is totally valid. And to me, not to diminish Robin's experience, but I think
Yes.
that if there was a miscommunication, we're 3 hours off here. So
Yeah.
I think the management should be like, I'm so sorry. Let me try to
Agree.
like prepare this quicker for you.
Yes.
But then I also think you could also be like, or just like throw in some brownies and I'll be back in 3
Right.
hours.
Exactly. I agree. I definitely think without a doubt, management mismanaged this situation. Like no matter what, even if Robin was emotional about the situation, I still feel like it was mismanaged.
Do you think that the mom was like, oh shoot, baby doll, I'm so sorry. It was 5. I read it upside down, honey. Sorry, Robbie.
I don't think so, because I would hope that if that were the case, then Robin wouldn't have gone to Yelp.
But if she had already written
this, what was she writing it? Maybe she was writing it while she was waiting there for an hour. Do we think it's a jump to say that the manager called her a liar?
I thought it was. I felt like it was taking it so personally.
Right. Yeah.
But to Robin's credit, Robin really spells out multiple times how angry they were by this point.
Yes. And that's why I'm saying I felt the emotions. Like I will say as a storyteller, or I don't know if it's that or if it's just I'm not sure what it was, but I could feel her emotions growing as this was going on, and how it was like I started being a little agitated, and then by the end, I'm leaving in tears. Boy,
I mean,
a lot here. Also, the spelling seemed very good until that end sentence. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's very standard for Yelp. I think there's a little sprinklings of things here and there, but it's one long paragraph. There's no like breaks or anything, but basically it's pretty standard, I would say.
Okay. So like not offensive, but also not like, putting it on the fridge.
No, I don't think I would. It would remind me of my daddy.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sad. Okay.
So like we've sort of spoken how this is sort of not the common dining experience of Lizard's Thicket.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm curious, since this is all new to you and probably the majority of listeners, would this be a deal breaker for you for going to a Lizard's Thicket?
I'd say absolutely not.
Yeah.
I think like if I'm going to cross something off the bucket list, if I happen to be in the area, I'm going on the name alone. I just got to experience it. I might not go back, but I think I would try it. And the thing is that's most important for me with restaurant reviews, and I think it's important for us to note this, at no point did Robin say that the food was bad.
Correct.
In fact, she was so upset that she couldn't get the food that they had that she left in tears.
Correct.
So by that analysis alone, I'm imagining the food must be pretty good if it caused her that much agita.
Correct.
All right. So I would definitely go. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, so Chelsey and I each have our own set of 1 to 5 crown cards, and in an effort to be fair and not influenced by one another, we will simultaneously reveal our rating cards.
The queens are tabulating.
You ready?
Very torn between 2 things, but I'm gonna go with.
Really?
Yeah, I have like a half.
All right.
A half situation, but yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm ready.
Total score.
Oh, wow. That was really interesting. So Trey's holding up 1 crown. I'm holding up 2.5 crowns.
You go first.
Okay, I will go first. That's funny because I was between like 2.5 and 3, because I felt like my assessment of a review is definitely the emotional attachment that I feel to the person. And if I feel that their experience was true, and I definitely connected with Robin's plight. And that's really where she got the 2.5 for me. I also think that the manager could have done a better job of handling this situation. And if I were to place an order with them for any kind of catering thing, I think I would like double, triple check that everything was going to be ready. So for that, I did gain some information, but I don't think it's a common experience. I don't think it would stop me from going there. And I do think the emotions clouded the experience for Robin a little bit here. So that's where she lost the other 2.5. But I'm actually kind of surprised that you went with 1. So let us know. Why did you go with 1 crown, Trey?
I just went with 1 because ultimately it seems like Robin arrived early. That could be a miscommunication. Yeah,
sure.
I also found it interesting to pick up a placed order through the drive-thru. I mean, tomato, we each do our own thing. But ultimately, I think that Robin was so angry and sort of took the miscommunication as the opportunity to be called a liar, and that their 60-year-old mother was a liar who is now a widow. And so therefore, like,
we know all that now.
Right. So to me, I said 1 crown because I don't really think it has much of an impact on Lizard's Thicket. And I'm sending lots of love to Robin's family.
But your bang buck ratio on this review was low. And I hear you.
Pretty low, yeah.
I'm a softie for somebody in an emotional situation. What can I say?
And in the words of Robin, bless your heart.
Robin D. Thanks for joining us today.
All right. So let's take a break. And then when we come back, we'll get into Chelsea's Philly review. I don't know
Philadelphia review.
Is there an accent in Philly?
Use better pay attention. You guys better pay attention because something good's coming. Just saying.
Ooh, on that tease. BRB.
I hope it's good.
Hold your crown. We'll be right back.
It's game time. Chelsey, get ready to throw that leg over and strap on in as we go on a quick spin on the Meryl-Go-Round.
Oh my God, I thought you never asked.
I can't. Most of the days I feel like I can't. That's with an A.
You always can, Meryl. Don't worry. Here's the deal. Trey and I have each picked a rotten, scathing, pithy 1-star zinger, and with 30 seconds on the clock, we'll take turns trying to recite the zinger in as many genres as possible.
Just like Queen Meryl Streep, who does it all.
It's true. Before the clock runs out. And I am first. I'm first. Yay. Okay.
Tell us.
I will tell you. So I was originally looking for reviews of the Liberty Bell, but I couldn't find any that were quite pithy enough.
Yeah.
And so instead, I decided to go with the Liberty Bell Diner, which is not the same, but within the theme. So this is for Liberty Bell Diner in Philadelphia, and it's from Rich K. And Rich K says, "Waitress sucked today. ... All
right, great. All right. And
Waitress sucked today.
You're going to be strapping into Rocky.
Oh my God, how perfect. I don't know
Philly,
anything from
right?
South Carolina. Yeah, the art museum steps he ran up. Yeah, good job. Okay. Wow. Okay. Adrian. Hey, Adrian. No,
I've never seen it. I saw the musical on Broadway.
Oh, I feel like I vaguely knew that was a thing. Anyway, let's do it.
Okay.
Stretching. It's you, babe.
I couldn't find the sound cue. Okay.
3, 2, 1, go!
Film noir.
Waitress sucked today.
Slapstick.
Waitress sucked today.
Game show.
Waitress suck today.
WWE.
Waitress suck today.
Yankee.
The waitress suck today.
Horror.
Waitress suck today.
Disney.
Waitress suck today.
That's all.
7.
Woo.
That first
Great.
one, I forgot how short it was, and then I was just looking at you like, oh, she's
You're
so
like,
funny.
it's fine.
Good
Thank
job,
you.
7.
Thanks. I feel good about my 7. Yay. Lucky number 7. All right. Let's see how my Rocky matches up to your. I mean, it's got to be a lizard, right? Is that bad? I just feel like it's on brand.
Sure.
All right. Strap into your lizard, Trey, in honor of Lizard's Thicket. And
Okay.
what is your zinger? What is your zinger from today?
So today, I have a 1-star zinger from Amazon.com for make your own boiled peanuts kit. Have you ever heard of a boiled peanut?
I have not.
Are you
that
serious?
Is that bad? I mean,
No.
I know, but I know like the roasted nuts in New York on the street. Different.
No.
Okay.
Boiled peanuts are like they're actually called the caviar of the South. But I didn't even
really?
realize. Yeah, I didn't realize this was the whole thing until preparing for this episode. But yes, we used to. There would be just little like food carts on the side of highways, and they'd be people boiling peanuts. It's like the best place to get a boiled peanut is like a gas station. Which
And how does a boiled peanut taste? How does it differ from your ordinary peanut?
they're like soggier, I guess. They're just soft.
Seems like. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's the weirdest thing when you break it down. Anyway, so this is.
But you like it?
I haven't had them
like-
since I was a kid, but it was definitely like a thing. Like I forgot that it existed until today.
I'm so glad you revisited that memory.
Me too. Boiled peanut. All right. So this is a make your own boiled peanut kit, which is hilarious
Okay.
in itself because you just put the peanut in water and boil it. But whatever.
I know.
So this is from Wendy E, but Wendy spells her name WYNDE.
I was wondering if you were kind of saying that with an accent, but like if you were just being like a little windy, but it is kind of windy.
And this 1-star review is the subject is never again.
Okay.
And the review is never again.
Never again, never again, never again. All right. Are you ready? Are you strapped into your lizard? Let's do this, Trey.
I'm on my
Let's do
Geico
this.
gecko lizard. Okay.
Gecko. Your Geico gecko.
3, 2, 1, go!
Superhero.
Never again.
Melodrama.
Oh, never again.
Rom-com.
Oh, never again.
Opera diva.
Never again.
Breaking news.
Never again.
Magic show.
Never again.
3, 2,
Lifetime.
Never again.
That's all.
Guess I'll give that to you. I feel like you're on a winning streak, Trey, and I can't break it. Let's
How
see what
many
you
was
got.
that?
I think that was a lot. I mean, granted, I didn't pause for an hour, but 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Oh, it's a tie. 2-7, 7-7. How lucky are we? Wow.
We ever tied
I
before?
love that. I think maybe once before yeah, I think we've tried. Anyway, that was super fun.
Yay.
Love that journey for us. Yay.
Review that review.
All right, we're back from that game break. And it is now your turn, Chelsey BD. Where's your review
Thank
from
you.
this week?
Okay, so my review this week is from the Franklin Institute. It was one of my favorite places to go as a kid. It's like I guess like futuristic museum planetarium. My memories of going here, like science, it's a science museum essentially. My memories of going here as a kid were like walking through this giant heart. Like they actually have this like giant, I guess, heart replica you would walk through. I remember that. And also they had these amazing laser shows where they would like play Aerosmith or something and then do these lasers while like, don't want to miss a thing. That's Aerosmith, right?
Mhm.
Anyway, so that would be happening. And it was so fun. And I remember my sister did it one year for her birthday. And I think I got to go and bring a friend with me, which was amazing. And I just really loved this place as a kid. They also sold, it was the first time I ever had astronaut food. Have you ever had like an astronaut ice cream sandwich?
I have.
Yeah. So this was the first time I ever tried that. So I have like a bit of an emotional attachment to this. I'm just gonna say that with my 1 star here. And this 1 star review of the Franklin Institute from a not happy camper is from Heather. Sorry, that's wrong. I always do that. I don't know what's wrong with me. Okay. This review is written by Healthy Gypsy Tea. Healthy Gypsy Tea. Okay. And I apologize. I made it it's long. I made it very small and now I need to zoom in.
Wait, is it how many stars and where is it from?
Yes, thank you. And Healthy Gypsy Tea has written a 1-dot review from TripAdvisor of the Franklin Institute. So here it is. The subject is not really fun for anyone over 11 years old. And I just noticed this, Trey, and I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but next to the date, like that they wrote this review, there's a dot, and then next to that, it says family. I've never seen that before, but just wanted to point it out. Have you seen that before?
I don't think so.
Okay, I don't know. Well, they have said that they're a family, I guess. Okay, here we go. While visiting Philadelphia with my 2 teenage sons, we couldn't decide how to spend our day because of all the great choices of stuff to do. After reading dozens of reviews on TripAdvisor, we decided on the Franklin Institute. It's not very often I completely disagree with the reviews here, but I am shocked by how many good reviews there are. I was torn between giving this place a 1 star or 2 because it's probably worth 2 stars if you have young children under 12, are prepared to spend a fair amount of money, and have never been to a great kids' science museum like the Exploratorium in San Francisco. But if any of those things don't apply to you, I would give this place a miss. The idea of this place is good, but it seemed to fall short at every exhibit. We visited on a Saturday in June, and it wasn't really that crowded. We were 2 adults, 2 teens, and 1 senior. When we arrived, we decided to buy entrance to just the Institute itself and the 3D movie on penguins for an extra $4 each, because it seemed like there was a lot to do just at the main institute without adding a special exhibition for double the price. We began on the 3rd floor at the Sports Challenge. My boys were excited to try surfing. The exhibit turned out to be ridiculously boring, certainly for older kids, but even the younger ones were not enjoying the very small, slow, and awkward moving surfboard that lasted a few seconds. So disappointing. There was also a chance to kick a soccer ball and throw a broken baseball. The exhibits are old, tired, and boring. My kids then wanted to try the sky bicycle, which sounded like fun, but when we got to it, we found out that there was an extra charge to go on it. This was the case that we found on every section of the Institute, that whenever there was something slightly interesting to try, there was always an extra charge. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, babe.
Good.
I got lost. I got lost in the second page. Fudge. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to read the sentence again. This was the case that we found on every section of the Institute, that whenever there was something slightly interesting to try, there was always an extra fee. The sky bicycle, flight simulator, adventure flight, etc., all cost an extra $5 each to participate in. We were wondering what was actually covered in the admission fee. We had an awful, but typical for this type of place, lunch at the Franklin Food Works. The only vegetarian option was a tired piece of cheese pizza. Nothing to eat for vegans or those trying to eat a healthy meal. After our sad lunch, we hurried to level 2 for our 3D movie to find the theater completely empty except for the 5 of us. And once the movie began, I realized why. It was the old Discovery Channel show on penguins, narrated by David. Wow. It was the old Discovery Channel show on penguins, narrated by David Attenborough. What a waste of time. When we got out of the movie, we went up to the planetarium to see the show. When we got out of the movie, we went up to the planetarium to see the show, only to find out that at 3:45, when we arrived, there were no more shows for the day. The Institute closed at 5. So disappointing. Then we went up to the observation deck on the 4th floor, only to find out it was already closed for the day. Why? And this is why I'm giving this place a single star review. There was no schedule of any kind given out when we arrived to let us know when the planetarium shows played or ended for the day. And the observation deck is not even listed on the map. We just happen to see it on the elevator buttons. What terrible visitor service. And we weren't sure why they closed at 5 when it seemed everything worth seeing closed by 4:15. There was a potentially cute exhibit in the train factory on the 1st floor. It was a little mystery with clues where you try to find out who was responsible for a train wreck. The idea was really cute, but was so confusing and executed so poorly, most kids passed it by, and adults were trying hard to figure it out and wondering why there wasn't any kind of intro to it leading into the exhibit. Disappointing. Again. I felt so bad dragging my kids here for the day that I paid $10 for them to go for a spin in the flight simulator, and they both enjoyed it. If I had endless funds, I would have let them go on a few times. I really wanted to like this place. It just fell short at every turn.
Wow. Wait.
Yeah.
What was the reviewer's name again?
Healthy Gypsy Tea.
Right. Healthy Gypsy Tea. Well, now I understand.
Interesting.
Why
yes, we understand the healthy. Yeah.
Okay. The first thing that occurred to me here in the title.
Yes.
Only good for people under 11.
Yes.
And then like the first sentence is like, I was taking my teenagers. Doesn't everyone in the world know that teenagers are impossible? And why would you ever assume that a good activity for teenagers is any sort of museum? Maybe I'm biased, but like, don't take teenagers to like a science museum. I just totally already know that's going to be a nightmare. They're not going to be interested in a kid's museum. They're teenagers.
Right. Yeah. Admittedly, I was a kid when I went.
Well, yeah, we had a place called Discovery Zone, and I would go there. And
yeah.
It was all of these same things you're talking about. But that's not cool when you're like 14 and you like girls and you're on TikTok.
Yeah, and all that. I mean, I was wondering, because remember at one point in the beginning, she was saying how she paid regular admission and then the other admission was double the cost. I wondered, if you paid for the other admission, do you think all this stuff was included in that? Is it a la carte if you just do this general admission and then, which in a way I can see why they would do it that way, because you would figure if it's double the cost, I mean, maybe $5 or whatever is a lot, but if it's double the cost, I don't think they said they had a senior with them. I don't know that the senior is going to do the flight simulator, and it doesn't sound like the mom's going to do it either. So why pay double the price per ticket when you can just pay a la carte for just the teenage boys? So I wondered if this sort of nickel and diming that they were doing was because they were wearing the yellow wristbands and the people that were wearing the purple wristbands got to just do carte blanche. I don't know. I don't know.
The whole ticketing situation is a question for me.
Yeah.
I pulled up the website and it does only list general admission tickets, which include museum admission and then the Fells Planetarium. So, Healthy Gypsy Tea does mention that there was no information handed out. So even looking at this, it doesn't say that there are going to be individually priced experiences. So that is a question for me, that there is some value here to me that I need to really check in about that.
Yeah. And I guess you wouldn't really know that if there was no documentation. You wouldn't know that until you're past the ticketing process, I guess.
Yeah, you would hope the box office person would be telling you that.
Right. So that's something, right? So is the box office person to blame in this scenario? But I guess they wouldn't know what they were in for. But it seems like they could have let them know this is what's included with general and this is what's included if you go the other way. I don't know.
It is interesting to me that it would definitely be disappointing to me that every single cool thing was an additional charge. Then it is sort of why can't you just include this? Then you really would have the experience of being nickeled and dimed. So if your hypothesis that they got a cheaper ticket that wasn't all inclusive, then, I wonder if they bought the tickets online and didn't speak to a person who would explain that, or...
That's true. They didn't really blame the ticketing person or mention them. It sounds like they were almost blaming themselves for trusting the other reviewers and going in a little bit blind, because it does sound like they made this decision thinking that there would be plenty to do with just the regular admission, which I understand as a visitor of a lot of museums. I go to museums a lot. And if I'm in a different city, sometimes they'll have pay extra and see this exhibit, but the museum is so large.
Correct.
And you're I'm just here one day and I really want to take it all in. So I'm not going to pay for the extra thing. So I think that that's what Healthy Gypsy Tea was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the spelling and grammar like?
Excellent. We did abuse the all caps a little.
Really?
A little bit. We abused the all caps, but not crazy. We used it a lot. It looks excellent though. Really, really nicely done. Healthy Gypsy Tea on the grammar for sure. I don't think she had any copy. I stumble because sometimes I stumble, but I don't think I stumbled on any of the sentences.
No, I don't think so.
So I think it was well written, but do we think this is a normal experience? And do we think that Healthy Gypsy Tea was right to kind of throw shade at the other reviewers that had positive experiences here? Because I feel like that's what she did.
I'm curious, given Healthy Gypsy Tea's title, if Healthy Gypsy Tea came with non-teenagers, what the experience would have been. Would you have had a more pleasurable experience with the general admission if you had young minds versus teenagers?
Well, I think that's what they're saying.
Right. I wonder if the 5 stars are not for people that had teenagers.
Maybe. And maybe that's why they felt the need to really hone in on that I mean, if I was going to say that Healthy Gypsy Tea had a hypothesis or a thesis that they were presenting, I would say that's the lane they chose.
It also made me curious, how is a baseball broken?
I know. I
Like
was thinking about that too.
The thread breaks or something?
The thread? I don't know. Like there must be some sort of science, physics thing with that, I assume.
Yeah, that was perplexing to me.
Oh, the food expectations. Let's touch on that. I mean, I know we've been touching on the Healthy Gypsy Tea thing, but what do we think we can expect at a museum cafeteria?
Well, I think even Healthy Gypsy Tea says, like, per expected of this sort of a place.
Right.
I mean,
but then why do we feel the need to really like include that? Just because we want to be thorough for other people and be like, bring your own food?
I did think it was maybe one of the most valuable aspects of this review was mentioning that there is not a vegan friendly food.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I wonder how many vegans are going to the Franklin Institute. Interesting statistic.
But I do think it is like, this is for children. And yeah. I do think that children cafeteria situations are always not gourmet food, which Healthy Gypsy Tea points out. And
they also like want to turn it around. So I feel like it's always the type of food that you can just like throw under those heaters or whatever, you know?
Yeah, it's like chicken fingers and like
chicken fingers and French fries.
Mustard.
Yeah, and pizza, you know.
I mean, do you think that this like has any impact on you? Like, would this be a deal breaker for you?
I think it's a very contingent review, right? I think it's if I decide I'm going to go to this museum with teenagers and not children, like there's just I think there's like a lot of boxes that need to be ticked for this to be your experience. But where I do feel like taking note, and thank you, Healthy Gypsy Tea, for letting me know, I am curious about the a la carte thing. And are they going to be trying to upcharge me at every turn to try to get me to just, you know, separate me from my money? Is that what I'm getting into? Because if that's the case, then, you know, I would want to know. I'd want to ask more about the ticketing. So I think that was useful to me. But other than that, I think like we've both been saying, it sounds like this was just the wrong audience. And I don't think that most people looking to come here with children would be like, nah, not going to come because of this.
And then something that also stuck out to me in this review is the conversation about parts closing prior to the actual closing of the building. And that is something that does pop up very frequently in reviews. And that was in the Ross review at the dressing rooms. Oh my gosh, right. Remember? That's right. But that is perplexing to me. I recognize that like if a showing or something, like you're not going to do a showing, like you're going to make sure that the last showing ends prior to the building ending or closing. Right. So like, but 3:45 and they close at 5, maybe that sort of makes sense. Like, you know, but that's what I was thinking. Well, I was thinking though, I wonder the same thing. Cause I was like, yes, that's annoying. And you should have known that going in, or they should have told you. But if you figure it's like an hour program, right, and they close at 5, I think a 3:45 show probably starts closer to 4. And then if it's an hour long, I think it made sense to me. I think that it was clearly very annoying to Healthy Gypsy Tea, but I think it does stand to reason that you'd have to, like, if a movie theater closes at midnight, they're not going to start a movie after 10. Correct. You know, it makes me think of like zoos when they have like live events. It always says like the last showing is at this, like it's very communicated. Right. Exactly. It really feels to me that Healthy Gypsy Tea did a lot of review research, but did not do a lot of research on the actual museum itself, because I wonder if there was any literature that gives you a ballpark of what the approximate age is for visitors. Sure. And also like not really knowing about the mystery train thing. And like, it just seemed they went in sort of blind, besides reading a bunch of reviews where people were happy. But, you know, reviews are so subjective that it's sort of like, I know. Well, we know. We totally know. We definitely know. I mean, I hear you.
I get it though. I obviously I live in reviews. Our show is about reviews. I'm reading the reviews all the time, and I heavily depend on those because I feel like everybody's going to put their best foot forward on their website. You know, the people that are going to
Right.
really tell you what's going on are going to be the people in the reviews. So if they, if Healthy Gypsy Tea read a bunch of reviews and none of them mentioned any problem with getting the general admission, and that there was a lot to see, then I can understand why they would be a little bit disappointed, I guess. But they could have done the research, or I don't know. But they did say somewhere in here, right, that something wasn't in the brochure or wasn't in the they did give them something.
Yeah,
I don't remember these things.
there was reference to
Oh, it said no. This said there's no schedule given out of
Right.
any kind when we arrived. So let's see. Anything else that we need to consider for Healthy Gypsy Tea?
I don't think so. I think I can crown this.
All right, let's crown her.
The queens are tabulating.
You ready?
Yeah, I think so. All right, let's do it.
Total score.
Oh, interesting. We reversed on this one. So I'm holding up 2 crowns. Trey is holding up 3.5 crowns. Trey, tell us why you're holding up 3.5 for Healthy Gypsy Tea.
Based on Healthy Gypsy Tea's review, I think there is a large impact. I imagine that this is maybe not the most common experience, which Healthy Gypsy Tea points out themselves. But what the impact of the review for me as a reader is, I'm not going to bring teenagers here. I need to get clarity on what the cost to participate is.
Yeah.
Because you don't want children to feel like they're not allowed to get something because it's a pay per exhibit situation.
Right.
And
Yes.
I think it's valuable to know plan accordingly because things will have final showings or final participation before the end of the business day, and also plan food appropriately. So for that reason, there is an impact for me, even though I don't know that I would have been in these shoes to begin with. I would never think to bring teenagers to a science museum, but
Sure.
I do think that it's more than middle of the road. That's why I did 3.5, because the impact is not a deal breaker. I would go, but I would be armed with wanting more information. Why did you do 2 crowns?
I did 2 crowns because I just felt like in order to have the same experience as Healthy Gypsy Tea, I would need to be vegan with teenagers. I think if I weren't those things, I probably would have a very different experience. Also, obviously, there's a little bit of attachment for me for the Franklin Institute because I love it. And I know how much I loved it when I was a kid. And I have admittedly not been there in a while. But I do think it's likely still fun for these kids. And for me, while I appreciated Healthy Gypsy Tea sharing her experience, sharing the knowledge about the a la carte situation, sharing the knowledge about apparently the jankiness of, or the weird, is janky a bad word? Apparently, telling me about the surf experience and different experiences, I feel like I did get to know what some of the programming was going to be. So there was information there. So that's mostly where my 2 crowns came from, is there was information there. I learned a thing or two, but I don't know that this would be something that would impact the regular attendee of the Franklin Institute. So that's that.
I agree. Great job.
Yeah, thanks, Trey. That was fun. Did you have fun?
I did. Franklin.
Good.
Do you know who it's named after?
Franklin. Benjamin Franklin.
Never heard of him.
Trey. Lightning.
Did you know that my
Okay.
dad used to own Ben Franklin Crafts?
No, I did not know that. How random is that?
Do you know what that is?
No.
It was
What is it?
It was bought out by Michaels. Have you ever heard of Michaels?
Oh, of course. I mean, have I heard of Michael's? I spent an entire summer there once.
Really?
I mean, not working there. My friend Steph was very into scrapbooking. We would go every day.
Right. So Ben Franklin Crafts. It was
Wow. I love that. I'm learning new things about you all the time. So fun. So fun. All right. Where are we? All right, my queen.
Mhm.
Okay, all right, my queen Che. We've reached the most regal portion of our show. Who are you inducting, Trey, for?
My Royal Highness.
Okay. Today,
Yes.
I am formally inducting
Okay.
DVR.
Woo! Did you do research? I bet you did research.
I didn't. Now I'm just realizing I don't even know who invented DVR, but
I'm like, I have so many, like, what did DVR stand for? Anyway, I'll let you have your moment, but
I'm so grateful to DVR because I remember an era where you either recorded it on a VHS or you missed it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. I don't know what you're saying. Or
And
you
I
recorded
really-
it on a VHS with the Band-Aids and you put it back in and did it again. Did you ever do that? Sorry.
Band-Aids.
I don't know. It was a thing where if you wanted to record over another tape, you had to cover these two sensors with Band-Aids and then you can record
Oh, that little whole thing.
your episode of 90210. Okay, continue.
Yeah, I mean, I used to record I Love Lucy when it was on the marathon of like Summer Block Party on Nick at Night.
Yes, love it.
Love it. But I feel like DVR has become so synonymous with television or cable, basically, that I like sort of take it for granted. And I was watching Impeachment, the Ryan Murphy.
Is it good? Is it good?
I only watched the first episode. Yeah, it was good.
Okay. Okay, I'm excited to see it.
But I watched it on demand, and so I couldn't fast forward or rewind.
And
so I was stuck watching commercials, which doesn't happen a lot. So
not often.
It really was like, oh my gosh, I really am so grateful to DVRs. So this week I am inducting DVRs and the ability to fast forward and rewind and watch at your own leisure.
I love that. I love that so much. I love when our Royal Highness goes to things that are like everyday things that we kind of don't take time to recognize, but yet our lives are improved by them. So
I thought of another one. I'm going to write it
Okay.
down for next week.
Oh, good.
How about you, my queen? Who are you inducting for?
My Royal Highness.
Well, I really wanted to stay on brand today. So this week, I am inducting the William Penn Charter School as my Royal Highness. And I would like to specifically shout out two of my favorite teachers, Dr. Lynch, who was my AP Bio teacher, and Fitz, who was the choir director. Both of these people had a lot to do with helping me become more confident in who I was in very different lanes. Dr. Lynch taught me in AP Bio. I didn't even really honestly have the confidence at first to take the class, but then I talked to him and he really encouraged me to do it. And he was one of the first teachers I ever had that made me realize that I am smart enough to do this and I can step up to the plate and I don't need to sell myself short or make myself feel like I don't belong. He really gave me a sense of belonging in this academic class that I was sort of afraid to take. And he just changed my life and he's such an amazing guy. And I think about him all the time whenever I have that feeling of lack of competency within myself. I think, what would Dr. Lynch say? And I think Dr. Lynch would say, you got this. So thank you, Dr. Lynch. And Fitz was my choir, and I don't know what we call them, choir leader, aficionado, amazing person. And he just had the best heart. And I started Penn Charter as a sophomore, which is a little bit difficult. It's a hard year to join a new school because everybody's sort of, paired off at that point. Thank God I had some amazing, lovely friends that were very kind to me from the get, but we were all in choir together. And there was something about being with my friends with a leader that was just so giving and just like the epitome of love and joy and light. When you saw him, you just felt better. And it's not often that you find people like that have the ability to make you feel seen in such a specific kind of way. And I think Fitz is leaving Penn Charter, I want to say, this year. And I'm so sad for the community that they won't have him, but I'm so happy for him that he gets to move on to this next chapter of his life, whatever it may be. And thank you, Dr. Lynch. Thank you, Fitz. You really changed my life. And I think about you pretty often. And it's long overdue that I honor you with this induction. So thank you so much. You are my Royal Highness, Penn Charter, and specifically Fitz and Dr. Lynch.
I tell you, teachers, they change the world every day.
Isn't it great? Last week, I gave it to teachers as well.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry. A few weeks ago, I gave it to, I don't know when it was, but I did that. Mm-hmm.
17. I think that was 17.
Yeah, it's coming at some point. But yes, the point is, we can never say it enough. We can never thank the teachers enough. They really are the people that influence, everybody so much and change and shape the people we are. So can't say it enough.
As Whitney once said, I believe that children are the future. Teach them well.
Teach them well and let them lead the way.
All right, my queen, we did it. That's another round on the RU and RQ Ferris wheel.
Love that. So fun. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. If you like what you heard, will you please tell a friend?
If you didn't like what you heard, will you please post about it and tell an enemy? Don't be shy. Hit up our voicemail box, 1-850-REVIEW-0.
You can also join our mailing list. Stay up to date with all of the goings on in the Queendom.
You can just say whatever you want to promote for the
mailing list. Okay, yeah. You can also, if you want, join our mailing list, which will help you stay up to date with all of the goings on in the Queendom. And also just a little something, because I felt like we got to reward these people that really stick by us and open these emails and click these links every week. You guys, first of all, we see you and thank you. And I want to give you a little gift, right? Why not? And if you've been listening to the show for a while, which if you're on the mailing list and you're not listening, then God bless you. And hopefully if you're on the mailing list, you are listening. And you'll know that I have a little bit of a problem with drinking water, right? It comes up a lot. So with that in mind, I'm going to give a one-of-a-kind, I got this myself, a one-of-a-kind Review That Review, white, beautiful water bottle to one person on our mailing list. I'm going to give it, let's say, what do you think, Trey? A week, 2 weeks after this episode airs, to give everybody a chance to join the mailing list if you're not already on the list, or to rejoin if you decided you were over it, because you could have this beautiful water bottle insulated. It's a real game changer having the water bottle around. So go ahead and join our mailing list. You can do it right through our website contact form. Put your information, put your email in there, and that will add you to our list. And we just can't wait to see you in the inbox.
Yay, I love that.
Yeah. How else can they keep in touch with us?
Feel free to join us on all the socials at The Review Queen. I'm at Trey Gerrald.
With 2 R's and a G. And I'm at Chelsey BD, and that's Chelsey with a Y, B as in boy, D as in David. You can also become a member of the Royal Court by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/review that review. We have 3 levels, depending on the depths of your pockets. Our entry level starts at just $5 a month. What a deal.
We also upload one of our reviews from each episode onto YouTube, so feel free to check that out and look at our gorgeous faces. Punums. And remember...
Ignore the haters. You're a queen.
Gender non-specific queen.
Obviously. Bye.
Bye.
Review That Review is an independent podcast. Certain names have been redacted or changed to protect the guilty. Executive produced by Trey Gerrald and Chelsey Donn, with editing and sound design by Trey Gerrald. With voiceover talents by Eva Kaminsky. Our cover art was designed by LogoVora, and our theme song was written by Joe Kinosian and sung by Natalie Weiss. Oh, Trey, bless your heart.
Thicket.
Love it. Ah.